All right, what's up there, YouTube? Ugly Juice Recipes. Welcome back to the channel. These videos are called DIY Made Easy, and they are geared towards mixers who are just starting out making their own e-liquid. So, whether you're a beginner or you're somebody who's a little bit more advanced, I hope that you find at least some entertainment here and maybe some helpful tips. So, real quick, Wayne from DIY or Die, link down in the description, posted a video talking about keeping your recipes simple, and I love, love, love that advice so much. Wayne does great work. Like I said, there's going to be a link to that video, a link to his channel down in the description of this video. If you haven't checked him out before, which I'm sure that most of you probably have, he does amazing work. His video quality, editing, production, it's all fantastic. Amazing, amazing dude. So anyway, he posted this video about keeping your recipes simple. And that is something that I really, really, really think is super duper important, not only for people that are more advanced, but also for people that are just getting into it for a number of reasons. You run into issues with flavor muting, you run into issues with your flavors kind of beating each other up, things like that. So, find a good cream that you like, find a good strawberry that you like, mix them together. You'll have a delicious strawberry and cream. There's no need to add any excessive ingredients in there to try to make something complex and nuanced. You're just going to lose a lot of the nuance that those flavors already have. Flavors have hundreds of ingredients in them already. You don't need to add a whole bunch of different ingredients to make a delicious e-liquid. So simple is one of the 5 S's of DIY. And this is something that I have not talked about in a while, but it's something that I need to touch on. We all need a refresher. So very early on in this series, I posted a video called The 5 S's of DIY, and those are as follows. The first one, like I said, is simple. Keep your recipes simple. The fewer ingredients that you can use to achieve a desired profile, the better that liquid is going to be in the long run. The second one is sweetener. Sweetener is essential for making delicious, satisfying e-liquid. So the flavors that we use in our e-liquid are aromas. You taste them with your nose. And when you add a sweetener to the e-liquid, what you're doing is you're getting your tongue involved in that tasting. Yeah, use sweetener, keep your recipe simple. Also, single flavor test your flavors. Every time I get a new flavor in, I look it up on elr.com. That's eliquidrecipes.com. I research the flavor a little bit. I find out what sorts of percentages people are using. I maybe look at some recipes, but then I taste the flavor by itself so that I can have a better understanding of what that flavor tastes like to me. Small. Sorry, that's number 4. 4. Small. Make small batches of your recipes. When you are developing a recipe, or when you're trying somebody else's recipe out, make a small batch. Make 10 milliliters, make 15 milliliters. Shoot, I make 5 milliliter batches of most of the recipes that I make. And then if you don't like the recipe, or if it doesn't turn out how you want, or you need to adjust something, you don't have to throw away a whole bunch of ingredients. You don't want to be caught making 120 milliliters of something that you've never even tasted before. It's entirely possible that you're not going to like that, or that it's not going to be exactly what it is that you're looking for, and then you're going to be stuck with all that e-liquid. And myself, I have made the mistake many, many times of mixing up something that I thought was going to be really, really good in a huge batch and not liking it, and then shame vaping all of it because I'm too cheap to throw it all away. So like for the whole week, I'd be like, I do what I just keep doing that through the entire 120 milliliter bottle because, like I said, I'm too cheap to throw it away. The last S of DIY is steep. So flavors in general change over time. Most of them take at least a few days for the pH levels to balance out in the e-liquid and for you to get an accurate profile of what that flavor tastes like. Now, some of them take a lot longer than that. There are flavors that I know of that I've used before that can take up to 6 weeks before they become fully developed. So you definitely need to do your research when you're using flavors, especially ones that you've never used before, and see how long exactly those flavors need to steep before they taste like what they're supposed to taste like. So those are the 5 S's of DIY, and we are going to apply those 5 basic rules to the recipe that we are going to make today, which is Apple Brown Betty. So Apple Brown Betty is like this. It's a traditional American dessert of baked apples layered with spices and brown sugar crumbles like streusel toppings. So it's got some bakery elements to it, a crust, and then really important part of Apple Brown Betty is cream on the top of it. I have tried some Apple Brown Betty recipes before, and a lot of them are lacking the cream note. And the whipped cream is really important. It's not Apple Brown Betty if there's not a very generous scoop of whipped cream on top of it. So the only apple flavor that we have in the DIY Made Easy Season 2 flavor stash is FA Fuji, which is going to work really well here. So FA Fuji is like a fresh, crispy, very natural tasting apple flavor, and it's going to do exactly what we want it to here at 2%. For the kind of crust notes of it, of the Apple Brown Betty, we're going to use an OOO Biscuit at 1%. INW Biscuit is just a nice buttery, dry biscuit flavor. It has a really nice AP bakery note. It's going to work really well with the apple to kind of give us a little bit of an apple pie vibe. Now, we don't have a solid brown sugar in this flavor list, but streusel topping is like a mixture of oatmeal and brown sugar, and it's baked. And I think that TFA Cheesecake graham crust at 2% is going to work really well in here to give us those maybe a little bit cereally, a little bit dark sweet notes. It's gonna work just fine as a streusel topping. And of course, the cream note. We are going to use FLV Cream at 2%. Like I said, it's really important for an Apple Brown Betty to have a very generous scoop of whipped cream over the top, and FLV Cream is a very thick, very dairy, really nice, solid cream note. It's going to work really well in here. It is really important to note that when I make these flavor lists at the beginning of this season, I don't plan the entire season's episodes out. I don't. I pick flavors that are versatile, that I can use to cover a lot of different bases. So, I know that I want an apple flavor on here. I try to pick an apple flavor that I could use for a candy, that I could use for a bakery, that I could use for a fruit profile. And I think that that's really essential, especially to beginning mixers, that the flavors that they acquire do cover a lot of those bases. When I first made this flavor list, I had no idea that I was going to make an Apple Brown Betty flavor. It's really challenging, and that's part of the fun for me, is that challenge of, I get an idea in my head, oh, I want to make an Apple Brown Betty, and then I'm like, I really don't have a very good brown sugar flavor, and that's really important. But I have good apple, I have good bakery, I have good cream, so we'll kind of figure something else out and make it work. A little knuckle test. This tastes really good. Let's try it out. 2% Flavora cream is spot on. That's such a good cream note. It's almost like this recipe is almost like an apple pie ice cream flavor. Oh man, it's so good. So, did we follow the 5 S's of DIY? Yeah, I think we did. I've single flavor tested all of these flavors out. I know what all of them taste like. I gave you flavor descriptions for all of them. We kept the recipe simple. We needed a apple note, a crust note, a brown sugary note, a cream note. We didn't need to add anything else to achieve that. I get the apple, I get the bakery, I get the dark sugar, and I get the cream. Sweetener. So this one could be a little bit polarizing. I considered my options because there are 3 sweeteners that I use, predominantly for different reasons. Capella Super Sweet, I use mostly for fruity profiles, and then Flavor West Sweetener used for bakeries, and then Flavora Sweetness I use for creams. So you could make an argument that any one of these 3 different sweeteners could be used in here. I chose Capella Super Sweet because I really wanted to bring that apple to the front. And by sweetening up that layer the most, I think that you taste it kind of not over the top of, but I think you kind of taste it first. You really get that apple note before you get those darker bakery notes or the cream note. Let's see. Small. Yeah, I made a small batch. I just made a little 10 milliliter bottle of it. And then as far as steep time goes, this one you're probably gonna want to let steep for about a week so that those bakery notes and the cream note can really have a chance to do their thing. But I think this flavor tastes great right now. It'll be even better in about a week. Anyway, I think that about does it for this episode of DIY Made Easy. Thanks for hanging out. Listen, guys, if you like what I'm doing here, please subscribe to the channel. Make sure you turn notifications on so that I get to annoy you every time I upload a video. There's a link to my Patreon campaign down in the description of this video. You can go there, give me $3 a month, keep me doing what I'm doing, and get yourself a 30-minute mixing session with yours truly once per month. Yeah, that's 12 times a year. If you can't, that's okay too. You can like the video, comment down below what you think about the recipe, and I will definitely see you guys in the next one.